Hey there, CHWA Nation. This is ring announcer Dilly here. 2022 has been an amazing year with crazy moments and great matches. Make sure you like the video and comment below what you think of the list. Tell us your favorite moments of the year. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications to know when we post new videos. Let's begin our top 15. Number 15. Davis vs. Natural. Our number 15 moment of 2022 was an amazing match between Nick Natural and Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis began to main event all of January when the then heavyweight champion Damian Blackwell couldn't fulfill his obligations, and his first title defense was against Nick Natural. Nick Natural had come in as a virtual no one that was only in battle royals throughout the local industry, with a lot to prove being in the main event for the first time. These two titans wrestled for almost 25 minutes in one of the best matches we had seen, and it was only week 2. Tommy Davis retained his title that night, and Nick Natural had proved that he was a main event caliber wrestler. Number 14. Carter wins the Rumble. CHWA Presents New Beginnings is the first pay-per-view of each year, with the main event being a Royal Rumble where everyone fights for a shot to be the number 1 contender for the CHWA Heavyweight Championship. The winner becomes the number 1 contender and gets a guaranteed shot at the heavyweight title during CHWA Presents May Day, regardless of who is the heavyweight champion. Our number 14 moment focuses around that. Drew Carter from the New Foundation was set to wrestle Tommy Davis that night for a better entry spot in the Royal Rumble and unfortunately came up short. So when he entered in at number 12 of 35, nobody would have guessed what would happen, especially with Tommy Davis being the favorite to win the whole thing coming in at 21. Drew Carter, being the brilliant strategist that he is, made his move early on by getting out of the ring under the bottom rope, thus not causing an elimination, and tucked under the ring until the absolute right moment. Tommy Davis eliminates what he believes to be the last wrestler and begins to celebrate, only for Carter to come up and throw out Davis. Everyone was in utter shock as Drew Carter had won his shot in May and began the reign of tyranny. Number 13. Crow goes too far. Aleister Crow is not shy about making anyone his victim, and our number 13 moment is exactly that. During the second show of February, Damian Blackwell's fiancée, Halo, came out to assure everyone that he'll recover from his illness and be ready to go for CHWA Presents Domestic Disturbance. Unfortunately, as they were telling everyone about Damian, Aleister Crow and Kenneth Collins decided to talk to them about making sure Damian was there for the pay-per-view. As things heated up, Aleister Crow decided to get everyone's attention and grab Halo. As everyone sat in awe, Crow pile-drove Halo into the mat, demanding Damian come fight. Number 12. The New Foundation crumbles. Last year, the New Foundation was a faction that just seemed like they could do anything. With members holding the tag team titles and the United States Championship, they proved time and time again to be menaces and nuisances throughout the company. In 2022, things weren't any different, with them continuing to interfere with matches and doing whatever they could to achieve victory. In the coming months of Drew Carter winning the CHWA Heavyweight Championship, problems seemed to keep arriving within the faction against each other. In the first week of June, Drew Carter came out with the New Foundation to let everyone know that all was well in the faction, and there was no cracks in his foundation.
I assure you, no cracks exist in my New Foundation!
The New Foundation had turned on its leader, Angelo Grimsley. The following week, Carter took out another member, formerly Esau Crane, Mazoku. With those two gone, all seemed well. Sid Manson and Dean Roberts became tag team champions. Carter continued to be the heavyweight champion, and Harlock Cross had unfortunately lost his United States title to Jeremy Lightfoot. Drew Carter seemed to have had enough of Harlock, and at Rungs of Glory, Carter, Sid, and Dean laid out Harlock with a triple belt shot. All was well once again until November, when internal fighting started happening again. Sid Manson and Dean Roberts turned on each other, and in a last-ditch hope to reunite his faction, Carter refereed a match between Sid and Dean. This led to the three of them fighting and continuing into a CHWA Christmas where the new foundation was officially no more. Number 11. Return of Exodus 2. In 2021, Chris Exodus had only wrestled 2 months before he was attacked and found with life-threatening injuries, several broken ribs, and a collapsed lung. All the work he had done to rehabilitate his neck injuries was all for nothing. After wrestling a few matches without medical clearance, he resigned to commentate with his father once more. At the first show of the new year, Exodus decided it was time to address his nation with an announcement that all believed to be his retirement. The end of an era. With all the roster surrounding him, Exodus told his people that he was ready for the next step in his career.
I have to make a big boy decision. It's not easy.
The Bayou Boys didn't care what Exodus had to say, though, and stopped him to make that point. However, no one had noticed a missing person by Exodus' side until the echo of metal to back rang through the arena. Elride had come to take care of Weyland, and Chris Exodus dealt with Bo Dickerson. As Exodus stood over them, he announced with anger and passion that he had been medically cleared once again for competition.
For the first time, professionally, publicly, and officially, December 27th, Chris Exodus is cleared for medical competition.
Number 10. The Freak and the Demon. We start our top 10 with an amazing match. Mizoku had been looking for Parasite for a while, and in the first week of June, a friend of Parasite's came to confront Mizoku.
I've been watching the match with you and Parasite there. I'm here on his behalf. We got some issues here, buddy.
The Freak Pretty Boy Floyd made his debut in CHWA and set the tone for the rest of the roster and anyone who decided to come to CHWA. Pretty Boy went up against Mizoku in a 15-minute match that ended in a draw. Mizoku threw everything he could at Floyd, but Floyd's 30-plus years of experience gave him enough to make it to the very end. However, the spunk and fire of Mizoku allowed him to kick out at the buzzer, stopping Pretty Boy Floyd from getting the win. Number 9. Lightfoot wins gold. The number 9 spot goes to a special moment in CHWA. Jeremy Lightfoot is a wrestling icon in the area with almost 25 years of experience and can handle quite a lot of punishment in the ring. However, when Doc Lombardi decided to interfere in the match between Harlock Cross and Jeremy Lightfoot for the CHWA United States Championship, Lightfoot could do very little against a fireball to the face. The next few weeks would be pure tension between Harlock and Lightfoot, leading to a contract signing where Jeremy Lightfoot would put his career on the line for the title in an anything-goes match. The match was brutal, with lots of blood, but in the end, Jeremy Lightfoot stood tall as the new CHWA United States Champion and retaining his wrestling career. The next week, Lightfoot decided that the championship needed to be retired respectfully and introduce a brand new title for the company.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the new CHWA 1-Up title.
The CHWA 1-Up Championship would be debuted as a title that whoever held it at the beginning of the month would be given the option to cash it in for a guaranteed match for the CHWA Heavyweight Championship at the end of the month. Number 8. Satisfaction Guaranteed take over the tag division. The CHWA tag division has had many great tag teams come through in the many years it's been around, with teams such as Bulletproof, SWO, and Dragon's Guild being staples in it. However, our number 8 spot goes to a tag team that has taken the whole division by storm, Satisfaction Guaranteed. Back in July, Maddie Monarch was left alone and full of doubt after her tag partner decided to step away. Feeling like she might also want to step away, she was stopped by her returning Sophia Sombra and was told only she could help Sophia relearn to wrestle. So the two former women's champions decided to team up and learn to tag together by watching the other tag teams. They threw themselves in the tournament for the CHWA Tag Team Championship at School of Hard Knocks, but unfortunately lost in the first round to the New Foundation's City Life Asylum. Setting their sights towards John Holt Yo 8, they decided to challenge one of the key pillar tag teams of CHWA, Dragon's Guild.
You're not leaving until we kick your ass at John Holt Yo!
Knowing that the fight was going to be tough with John Holt Yo being the show Dragon's Guild shines brightest, Satisfaction Guaranteed came out to prove they were a full tag team now. In a shocking turn of events, as Dragon's Guild went to set up the tail of the dragon, Sophia Sombra makes her move and pushes Chris Exodus off the top rope into the referee, causing a momentary distraction for Maddie Monarch to low blow L-Ride. The two women then grab Exodus and hit them with their finisher and secure the win. Satisfaction Guaranteed had done the near impossible and beat Dragon's Guild at John Holt Yo 8. After that, the women showed their true colors and gave Dragon's Guild a pair of belt shots to the head. Satisfaction Guaranteed has gone on to do many things after winning that day, including beating Mucha Luchas, 420 Caliber, Attack ring announcer Dilly, and faced off against Posthuman. Satisfaction Guaranteed has remained undefeated since their first loss, making them the current CHWA Tag Team Champions. Number 7. Exodus and his rival. Chris Exodus has been one of the key pillars here at CHWA. Being one of the original founding fathers, he has stepped in the squared circle with many opponents during his career. Though not many have really challenged him or made him better like Angelo Grimsley has. Angelo started out in 2021 debuting at CHWA Presents From the Ashes and has had many ups and downs. He made a name for himself leading the new foundation and being the reason for Exodus's life-threatening injuries. But after the new foundation turned on Angelo, Exodus and L-Ride were the first to extend the olive branch. Since then, Angelo and Exodus have faced off several times, with each match being better than the last, and both men becoming better as well. The two always seem to be connected somehow with what they do. However, things went to a new level in the first week of September. Angelo addressed Exodus and told him that he wanted to bury the hatchet between them. The two fought for 20 minutes and left it all in the ring, appearing to bury the hatchet. Angelo would go on to win the CHWA 1-Up Championship, and Exodus would continue battling his trauma in wrestling. In December, though, Chris Exodus seemed to be retiring from wrestling, and his friend Angelo wouldn't stand for that. So in the first show of December, Angelo issued a challenge to Exodus to reclaim the trauma he gave him. Later that night, Exodus and Angelo battled one last time that year, and in the end, Exodus walked out the new CHWA 1-Up champion and earned a rival they both needed. Number 6. Bulletproof's last match. At the Kenny Ray Memorial Show last year, Sean Justice came out with his former tag partner, Isaiah the Enforcer, to make an unfortunate announcement. Due to severe neck injuries, he was forced medically to retire.
I got a very severe neck injury, so therefore, I'm forced to retire.
As the entire roster surrounded the ring, Sean told Chris Exodus and L-Ride to get in the ring with him, and asked if Dragon's Guild would be Bulletproof's last match. 4 weeks later, the two tag teams would face off for the MMWA tag team titles. Bulletproof has always been rivals with Dragon's Guild, and so this match was nothing short of spectacular. Each team put out their best efforts, with Sean Justice doing what no one has ever done before and kicked out of the tail of the dragon, Dragon's Guild signature finisher. Then Dragon's Guild got hit with Bulletproof's finisher, the double spear. That should have been the end of Dragon's Guild, but they prevailed and kicked out together. The two tag teams had kicked out of each other's signature finishes. The war continued, and in the end, a Starlight kick to Sean Justice ended the match. Dragon's Guild remained the MMWA Tag Team Champions, and Sean Justice walked out for the last time to cheers from CHWA Nation.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Number 5. Crow underestimates his victim. Weyland wins. We start our top 5 with the most shocking moment of 2022. Aleister Crow has been an absolute powerhouse, and even more so since he won the CHWA International Championship at CHWA Presents Mayday. Every wrestler that dared to step up to him, he made good on the promise that everyone's a victim. At the beginning of October, Aleister decided to pick his next victim by taking Allie from Weyland during a match with Dougie Best. Afterwards, when Weyland went looking for Allie, he found her in a nest and seemed to be attacked by Aleister. In the coming weeks, the two would face off in tag matches, and in the last week before CHWA Presents Ring of Screams, Weyland and Aleister would stare off. However, as Aleister started to walk off, he decided to take one last shot at Weyland and charged at him. At the last second, Nephew Jebediah stepped in front of Weyland, saving him from a belt shot to the head. Weyland, full of anger, did everything he could to get to Aleister, and at Ring of Screams he finally was able to. Weyland ran to the ring to waste no time and begin his fight with Aleister. A minute and 48 seconds later, Weyland hit Aleister with his signature Gator Bomb and was named the new CHWA International Champion. Weyland had done something that no one else could in 5 months. Beat Aleister Crow. Number 4. A new champion and a new division. In March of last year, CHWA seemed to be in a bit of chaos with the general manager, Vicious Victoria, being the CHWA Women's Division champion. Every woman on the roster stepped up to try and take the title off of her and bring order back. During CHWA Presents Ground Zero, Victoria issued an open challenge for her title with one rule: Margaret wasn't allowed to answer the call. Then familiar music began to play, and a returning Sophia Sombra walked out to accept the open challenge. Sophia walked out the new CHWA Women's Division champion that night, and the next week had an announcement. Sophia told everyone that while she was gone wrestling internationally, she realized that men and women wrestle as equals and for the same titles out there. So she felt it was time to do the same here. Sophia took the CHWA Women's Division title and retired it for a new division. A new division where men and women can wrestle as equals and can be named champion regardless of gender. Thus, the CHWA International Championship was debuted, and since then, a change in St. Louis area wrestling has begun. Number 3. Carter's reign ends. Era of Lightfoot. When Drew Carter won the CHWA Heavyweight Championship against Damian Blackwell in a Cottage Hill street fight, no one knew what would come after that. Little did we know that Carter would change the landscape of CHWA with his reign as heavyweight champion. He would begin by cutting the fat from the new foundation. He would wrestle anyone crazy enough to face him and cheat any chance he could. Drew Carter was the worst thing that could happen to CHWA. Many stepped up to him, including the former faction leader Angelo Grimsley, Johnny Banks, former faction member Harlock Cross, and Iorio the Juggalo in the 5 months of his time as champion. During this time, Jeremy Lightfoot had won the CHWA United States Championship and debuted a new title, the CHWA 1-Up Championship. With the ability to cash it in to challenge Drew Carter at the next pay-per-view, Lightfoot watched his fellow comrades fail to dethrone Carter and finally couldn't take it anymore. After a successful defense against Iorio, Lightfoot announced that at CHWA Presents Ring of Screams, he would be taking on Drew Carter for the CHWA Heavyweight Championship.
Ring of Screams, Drew Carter. Your ass is mine.
As the weeks went on leading up to Ring of Screams, Carter continued to win and Lightfoot began to fail. He started doubting himself. When it was finally time to face off for the heavyweight title, there was only one rule in the match. There would be no one at ringside to support either wrestler. During the match, in typical New Foundation fashion, Drew Carter and Sid Manson just couldn't help themselves by trying to cheat in the match. During a distraction, Carter threw salt in Lightfoot's eyes, and Sid Manson gave Lightfoot a shot to the back of the head with the heavyweight title. This caused a massive confusion and resulted in Lightfoot giving the referee a Lightfoot driver. With a new referee, the match continued, and this time, though, with Carter being the one to receive the Lightfoot driver. Lightfoot had done it and ended the reign of Drew Carter with thunderous applause from the crowd and locker room. Number 2. TLC for CHWA. CHWA has had a lot of crazy matches and crazy stipulations in its many years of running shows. We've had dog collar matches, death matches, 3 stages of hell, the list goes on and on. But the last match of CHWA in 2022 was a tables, ladders, chairs match for the rights to CHWA the company, as well as the CHWA Heavyweight Championship. In November, the new CHWA Heavyweight Champion, Jeremy Lightfoot, was looking to tag with Elride, and Kenneth Collins was the one to step up. But Collins brought an old friend of Lightfoot's to make things interesting. PYT's Playboy Double H had returned to CHWA. Playboy made his debut at CHWA in 2021 and had to step away for a while. He decided to come back, however, and this time he had other plans. Playboy addressed Elride and Lightfoot and said he was here to shut us down for good. Playboy pulled out everything he could for weeks to take the title away from Lightfoot. In one of the most controversial moments at CHWA Presents Great Googly Moogly, Playboy won the CHWA Heavyweight Championship due to an oversight by the referee not seeing Lightfoot's hand on the rope. After reviewing the footage, the match was overturned and restarted. With Playboy arguing with officials, Lightfoot recovered and hit the signature Lightfoot driver on Playboy and retained his title. But Playboy couldn't take it and demanded a rematch. Lightfoot went against management and decided to put the entire company on the line in a TLC match against Playboy.
Screw the title. I'll put this company on the line at the next pay-per-view in a TLC.
A match type that Lightfoot had never beaten Playboy in before. With confidence of never losing this type of match before against Lightfoot, Playboy accepted. In the second week of December, a contract signing between Lightfoot and Playboy was arranged, and Lightfoot was put through a table to show it'll happen again, and Playboy will walk away with everything. At CHWA Presents a CHWA Christmas, everything started to be set in place. The entire locker room came out to set up all the tables, ladders, and chairs, then surrounded the ring, united in their common interests. That Lightfoot would win, and we would continue to exist. The match was action-packed through every minute, wrestlers going through tables, breaking chairs, doors, and ladders. Both men put their all on the mat and left nothing behind. As Playboy began to climb the ladder in the final moments of the match, Lightfoot got up and pushed him out of the ring and climbed the ladder to grab the contract that had been hanging. As he did, the entire CHWA roster began to hit the mat, chanting CHWA, and with that, Lightfoot pulled the contract down, saving CHWA from closing. Lightfoot had beaten the odds against him, and CHWA declared all together that we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to survive. We are CHWA for life. Honorable mentions: New belts. Ring announcer Dilly and Jeremy the Ref eliminate Radical Rick. The Buff and the Brave win tag team championships in a 6-tag team ladder match. Shaft comes to wrestle. John Holt Yo 8. Dougie Best goes crazy. Satisfaction Guaranteed attacks ring announcer Dilly. Number 1. Post-Human Experience. The number 1 moment of CHWA in 2022 is the Post-Human Experience. Back in January, Parasite was nowhere to be found, and Esau Crane started to change into the demon Mizoku. So when Parasite came out from under the ring in the King of the Hill Rumble at CHWA Presents New Beginnings at number 2, CHWA Nation went ballistic. Then at entry number 19, Mizoku ran to the ring, and after knocking everyone down, Mizoku and Parasite stared off for the first time. For months, the two were intertwined in everything they did, constantly getting involved in each other's matches, evolving every time they crossed paths, all while still dealing with their own separate agendas. Things changed though in April when the two started going after each other specifically, and Mizoku drank a serum from Parasite. Things got more violent at that point. Mizoku went as far as taking Parasite out for a few weeks. In those weeks away, Mizoku was turned on by the New Foundation and forced out. At CHWA Presents the Kenny Ray Memorial Show, Mizoku faced off against the New Foundation's City Life Asylum by himself and was being overwhelmed. In the middle of the match, the lights went off, and through the door walked Parasite. Godfather decided to make it official and do a tag match with Mizoku and Parasite teaming up together. The two began to wrestle and seemed to be in complete sync with each other as they got the win, securing their place as a tag team. They would go on to wrestle a few months later at CHWA Presents School of Hard Knocks twice in the tournament for the CHWA Tag Team Championships. They did not win, however, that night, and turned their eyes to John Holt Yo 8. Post-Human faced off once again against City Life Asylum, but this time they walked away with a victory and became the new CHWA Tag Team Champions. And that's the top 15 moments in CHWA of 2022. Let us know what you all think of the list. Comment down below and tell us what your favorite moment of the year was. Remember to hit the like button and to subscribe to the page to keep up to date with all of our content. Also remember to hit the notification bell as well to get reminders of when we post our videos. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to help support us. Just visit us at patreon.com/CHWA. The link will be down in the description as well as our Facebook page. Thank you so much, and until next time, this is Ring Announcer Dilly, and we are out.